Have you ever felt like you're thinking in slow motion while the whole world is just stuck on fast forward? Well, if you're a deep thinker in a world that seems to love instant reactions, this explainer is for you. We are about to uncover the hidden power of taking your time. So, has anyone ever told you you're overthinking things? You know, that you take too long to make a decision. For a lot of us, that label can feel like a criticism, right? Like a sign that you just can't keep up. But what if it's not a curse at all? What if it's actually the key to a hidden superpower? I mean, think about it. We see it everywhere. In meetings, the first person to talk is often seen as the smartest. On social media, the fastest clapback gets all the attention. We seem to celebrate the quick talkers, the people who can just fire off a response without even blinking. Our entire world seems to run on this one simple idea: speed equals success. But what if that's just not how you work? What happens when your first instinct is to pause and reflect, not just react? If your brain is wired to be more deliberate, to process things and see all the angles, yeah, it can definitely feel like you're constantly swimming against the current. Okay, so to really understand what's going on here, we kind of need to look under the hood. Let's get into the basic science of how our brains actually work. A great way to think about it is that your mind has two different operating systems, and each one is designed for a totally different kind of task. So let's break these two down. First up, you've got System 1. This is basically your brain on autopilot. It is fast, it's intuitive, and it's almost totally effortless. This is your gut reaction. It's the part of you that instantly recognizes a friend's face or answers 2 when someone asks, "What's 1 plus 1?" But then you've got its counterpart, System 2. This is the slow, deliberate, and analytical part of your brain. And this one takes real work. It's a system you switch on when you're trying to solve a complex math problem, or learn a new skill, or carefully weigh the pros and cons of a huge life decision. Look, we all use both of these systems every single day. But here's the real question. What does it mean if your brain's default setting just seems to be that slower, more effortful System 2? What if, when you're faced with something new, your first instinct is to analyze it instead of just reacting to it? And this is where we need a major mindset shift. Just let this sink in for a second. Taking your time doesn't mean you're slow. It means you are deeply engaged in a process that most people just skip entirely. You're refining, you're pressure testing ideas, and you're uncovering insights that are totally invisible to everyone who's just rushing ahead. And hey, this isn't just some nice idea. There's actually a term for it: System 2 dominance. It's not a disorder, it's a cognitive style. All it means is that your brain naturally prefers to fire up that deliberate, analytical machinery instead of just relying on a gut feeling. It's not a flaw, it's a feature of how you are wired. Okay, so if System 2 dominance is your cognitive style, how does it actually work in the real world? Like, what does it really look like when it's in action? Let's dive into the art of the pause. Honestly, it's as simple and as profound as this. The whole thing hinges on one critical action: the pause. It's that ability to create just a little bit of space, a tiny gap in time between a stimulus, like a question or a problem, and your response. And that tiny little gap, that's where all the magic happens. So here's how that whole process plays out. It all starts with a stimulus, right? Something happens. But then comes the most important move. Instead of just jumping to a conclusion, you hit the pause button. You actively inhibit that automatic System 1 reaction. And that pause, that's what opens the door for deliberate reflection. You get to analyze, connect different ideas, consider all the nuances. And all of that deep work, it leads you not just to an answer, but to a refined insight, a conclusion that's way more robust and well-considered. All right, so we've looked at the science, we've looked at the process. Now let's talk about the payoff. How does this deliberate style actually transform from something that feels like a flaw into a genuine superpower in your life and in your work? So what is the real payoff for all this patience? Well, the advantages are huge. You end up with insights that are so much deeper and more nuanced because you're the one who actually noticed the single piece of data everyone else just glossed over. Your decisions are more refined and they can withstand a lot more pressure because you've already thought through all the potential pitfalls. You gain this incredible ability to see the patterns, the risks, and the opportunities that other people in their rush completely miss. And maybe most importantly, you build a natural defense against common thinking errors like groupthink that can lead an entire team down the completely wrong path.
So, if you take only one thing away from this, please let it be this. That tendency you have to think things through, to analyze, to be deliberate, that is not a bug in your system. It is a high-performance feature, and it's perfectly designed for navigating a complex and unpredictable world.
And that really brings us to a final question to think about. In a culture that is so obsessed with speed and instant answers, what is the real lasting value of being the person in the room who has the patience to pause, to reflect, and ultimately to get it right?